Hello friends, August the 4th. Can you feel it? We really have broken through some amazing veil, we could say. Something which was hidden before. Yes, it's not really visible in that sense, but it's definitely something you can sense in the air. Everybody does in clear moments, for sure. I mean, I'm talking to you guys. I mean, it's still a minority people who have that clarity, but it's like in a dark world, these people you are standing out, spreading light for big distances. So this is really literally what's going on, and our light has just become so much brighter as we have found that confidence, and I show you how this shows up. Now, Neptune is really the planet to watch out for. I said that many times, and I will actually make my point here today, that we are at the critical moment in human history of breaking through a quantum barrier. Really, it's almost that exactly that energy is going to be matched, which catalyzes a sudden shift. Something which has been getting ready for a long time, and what it really is, it is clarity of mind, I would call it. It's that Virgo energy, really, which Mercury now represents, as I have shown you, that build up, just even that exceptional power up the sun gave Mercury on its way into Virgo, as I was showing you all the details, the charts in the last recording. Please go back there. So Neptune is the planet to watch for. Well, for many reasons that is the case. First of all, Neptune is the final dispositor since 2011 until 2025. For these 14 years plus, Neptune is in Pisces in its own sign, and this has been a mystical ride. Just look back, look at the enormous distance we have come personally and collectively, both in these whatever 13 years since, you know, in the 13th year, I guess, we really come to the end. Actually, if we overlay the 64 hexagrams, this is a very powerful last segment of the zodiac, really, where Neptune is in. Between 22:37 and 30 minutes of arc, and 28:15. Again, you can find these on the cosmosofin.org, the link in the description always, where I give you all these degrees according to the human design system, a very powerful overlay of the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. If you're not aware of that yet, please look that up. That's a whole new dimension to every astrological chart, to every planetary placement, really. So it really adds a whole new level of insight, clarity, imagery, which allow us to get a conceptualization of that energy. How, because if we understand it on that symbolic level, and symbols, that's the power. Symbols, they can represent many things, and the 9, for example, they call it the flame ladders. These sometimes really encrypted combination of words, like the crystal shadow, which is a really beautiful image, and that is what they are speaking of out in approach of the Lionsgate portal on the 8th day of August. Anyway, this is just a kind of a median. It is that whole time basically with the sun in Leo, which is the 23rd of July into the 23rd of August. It is that whole time which is combustion and release, combustion and release. It is a really burning up all the veils, the packaging, whatever, all that is no more to standards, pretty much. So it is also that purification of self. In that sense, it is the phoenix rising out of its ashes. That is happening. That is, as we speak, happening probably to many of you too, and many, many more who are not even yet aware of astrology. Doesn't matter. It is it's just wonderful to have that confirmation, I would say. Now let's get into the charts, because this is really interesting. So Neptune has just the first time cut into the final edge here of this hexagram 36. It will enter the first time in April 2024 into the following hexagram, which is 25. Again, in a short nutshell, 36, darkening of the light. It is going deep down to the roots and devoid any light, and really experience that claustrophobic and that limiting. And it is, in the words of the I Ching, this is a time of corruption. This is when powers had snuck in through the back door, overtaken the whole kingdom, kind of. That is the energy of that 36. The good has to hide and to be extremely careful not to it is in that sense, yes, there's enormous potential in that degree too, because it is really the culmination of the zodiac in a way, in its very deepest level. It's kind of, if you think of a spiral going down, it is at that very deepest point before the quantum leap comes, and up it jumps up to the higher level again at 2815 Pisces. Actually, that is really the magic of that overlay. It's not the 0, it's the 2815, which is, and you can see that in any chart. Just look at your own chart. If you have any planet at cardinal, in the cardinal cross 2815 and bigger, then they are in the following sign, which is truly the one which is the cardinal cross. So the cardinal cross starts at that 2815. So this is an enormous help in understanding the power of degrees, particularities, which make lots of difference. So for example here, also the nodal axis is in these last degrees. However, this is cardinal. Yes, I said it wrongly. So sorry about that. So I mean the last 2 degrees of the mutable signs, the last 2 degrees of the mutable cross, 2815 Pisces and the other 3 Gemini, Virgo and Sag, all 2815 to 0. This is already part of the new season in that sense. Anyway, that's I don't want to get sidetracked here. I just think this is so super important. Now this is 30th degree here of Libra, yes, where the south node is, and the 30th of Aries. Now let me first say what this chart is about. I'm kind of riding the donkey from the tail end. I'm sorry about that. I'm sometimes not very systematic. I like to improvise. It's just who I am, and I don't like to make scripts. So forgive me for that. It's sometimes a little chaotic, I know, but it's true. That's just who I am. Well, I'm improving. I'm getting better, I hope. So Neptune crossing the 27 degree 30 mark, that happened in direct motion on June the 4th. Since then, Neptune had been in the Aquarian dwad. Yes, I say it right. It's the final dwad, 27, 30 till 30, which are in the previous sign. Anyway, the long story short, Neptune has been in the Aquarian segment since June the 4th and is now back in the Capricorn segment, which is between 27:30 and 25 if we go backward. Now this is super important, as it's all about capturing Neptune. It's all about being able to fully get to touch it and feel it, and also have its invisibility cloak pulled off. That's the very simple way to say it, which means all images which had kind of been working through the back door of our minds, they're becoming fully unveiled. Everybody can see it now, whatever that means, however that will manifest, this is another story. It actually, as always, the two forces are kind of like in a, the one puts the lever a bit higher, the other one pulls even, so it gets crazier on one side, more extreme, and as we now know, the latest is all the alien agendas, which now are all of a sudden happening, and nobody cares, because there's so much bigger issues in the air, so it's a very small percentage of population who really falls for that bait, so to say, anymore. So we know what to focus on, and however it is that alien thing which was very very much in resonance with Neptune and Aquarius, naturally in the Aquarian dwad, I should say. But with Neptune being back in the Capricornian dwad until January 21st, I guess, 2024, so for that last few months of having the chance to really bring things into the foreground and make it visible, that's what it feels. So this is a rare window, that last opportunity, that last dive into that radical exposure of all things which usually can stay invisible and work out of the background. I guess that's really what it is. Everything comes into full sight. And naturally the nodes speak for it, and it is that powerful axis. That's why this chart is so important, because it resonates with this solar eclipse axis from April 29th. That's where the sun was, and the moon on that eclipse day. Now the node is here, yes, fully activating that eclipse from April 29, so you can go back to that one. So that's how we always kind of time travel. There's always all the past is resonating with the present, and there are always moments that stand out in like markers, and they are superseding the energy. And when now the node is on that degree where the sun was at that eclipse in late April, that second new moon in Aries it was. Remember, we had the first new moon around the 21st of March, and then a second new moon within the same sign, which was an eclipse. So really, really powerful. The nth degree of Aries into early Taurus is hexagram 3. 3 is difficulty at the beginning. And this is the image. There is a blade of grass, a seed breaking open and shooting out a new blade of grass, raising up through the concrete. That's literally the sign, through the earth, breaking through. And it's that breakthrough moment too, but everything is new, everything is fresh, little, small, still in its beginnings. That is the energy the node here has. And again, this is really a super important time, a super important moment, I want to say. And I show you why. Let's see how this moment resonates with the future. 1 month after July the 27th, the moon 2320 Scorpio. Now let's see. August 23rd, Mercury turns retrograde. That is the moment Mercury turns retrograde. Where's the moon? 2325. 2320, 2325. Here you have a classic example of how power builds. One layer builds upon another layer. It's really a mountain is created, and this is powerful in many ways. We will get back to this chart. I just really wanted to throw it in. And then we have the Uranus opposition. I mean, you can't make these things up. So have we here the Uranus opposition. You see, it's now the 27th, 28th of July were a really loaded period of aspects, and that was my intention, and that's why I'm doing this video here. I wanted to go back to that. And it started with, let me now go to the right chart first. It started, you see here we have the moon at 2320 Scorpio. That was on the 27th. So just shortly after Neptune, back in the Capricornian frequency of getting a grip on reality, and Saturn always comes in almost like a police force, arresting that evasive frequency which is able to jump dimensions and switch gears and locate, disappear in one place, reappear on another. It is that magic illusion play which Neptune is a master of, and Neptune is the planet really of the image, of the mirror. Neptune is the planet of the second exact circular orbit. Only Venus has a slightly more circular orbit. And in many ways it's the shell of the solar system. Yes, there's quite a few smaller planets outside, but they're all smaller. Neptune is the last big shot, if you want, about 35,000 kilometers in diameter. That is big. That's about 3 times more than Earth. So you get the picture. And whatever is outside, for example, Pluto is something like 2,000 kilometers in proportion. As you can see, about 15 times smaller, so smaller than the Moon. Just this is important. We have to visualize the solar system and each planet in its own orbital signature. I learned that from Juan Reavilla and the Centaurs group, where I was part of for many years and still am following. Anyway, this is a wonderful, wonderful upgrade we just received by the end of July. That's really when it all came down. It's maybe only becomes to our realization now. Actually, today, the 4th of August, we entered what I call the retro loop, which means Mercury crossed the degree to which it will return to by September 15. It will turn at 8 degrees Virgo. You see today already it is at 9. So we are within this retro loop. Each degree is visited 3 times, which gives it this, again, multiplies the importance of that time, because it's like if you're a tailor, you go forth and back and forth over the end of your line. That's kind of how it feels. That's what retrogrades are. They are the nodes in the bamboo, you could say. They kind of hold things together. That's why these charts always have a great prognostic potential, I would call it. Anyway, so here we are. Maybe just a few more words to this chart. Also the black moon here, exactly squaring the moon, and Uranus here. Whenever the black moon comes in, things get intense and things can get actually ugly to some degree. Now again, ugly can be pure too in its own way if we see it as just one of the 1,000 ways reality can show itself. Each image individually has a truth to it, even if it's corrupted. So it is that place of absolute confrontation and integration at the same time where we are at here with this. I mean, the sign Leo is dramatic, and with the black moon in here you can expect, and I said that months ago when the black moon entered that sign, which is now roughly 6 months ago, I'd say. Overall it's 9 months in each sign. Leo is dramatic. So this will be a time of grandiose revelations, of something which is really grabbing the the attention of the masses, even, I would say. It's something which is so large, and again this will be played on both sides, so it could well be, actually there are indications we might see something like a big Project Bluebeam presentation somewhere, maybe in multiple places on this planet, and all at once will be big in the media. They have arrived. That is very, very possible. That is part of that Neptunian headway, if you could say. It's really, Neptune is in that sense also the agent that other energy is making best use of, that other energy which, and I would like to make a short quote here, this other energy which is not of this world. It's an invasive interdimensional frequency. That's how Jacqueline Hobbs, Oracle Girl, explains it, and it makes lots and lots of sense looking at it from that angle. So this energy is neutral in itself. However, it can infest into, put its tentacles, spread it out into the human nature, into nature as such. And yes, it has to be allowed, and actually once you recognize it, you can close the doors again. You can say, no, I'm no more consenting, I'm done with it, once you recognize it. And that's kind of part also of what is happening right now. Anyway, the quote I would like to give here about the nature of that other source, that interdimensional frequency. It is not the opposite of love. It has its complete own setup, which is incomparable. So this is not a dualistic fight against good and evil. Something to meditate upon, I guess. Anyway, this number 3 comes over and again in crop circles. It was also spoken about by the 9 as a key frequency of our times, and the 3 is really the peak of the pyramid. It's as simple as that. Where you step out of the dualistic linearity down to earth, you climb up onto the pyramid, you're watching from the top, and in that sense, that moment, you're neither for it nor against it, you're just the observer of it all, because it's, in the end, it is a divine play, it is Leela, it is Krishna dancing and all the gods celebrating who we are. For sure, we are here in our own put in scene drama. Just the more you understand, the more you see that is exactly what's happening. And even if we go through difficult times, in the end it is us wanting to go to all the extremes. That's what we are meant to do, actually. This is the freedom we are given to explore all the extremes and to do it the wrong way thousands of times, maybe to learn how to do it the right way. And then one day, that's the nature of evolution, we will know and we will understand. Anyway, this is kind of the line I see things going. Let's now look into these charts. I'm wanting to show you that environment, that few days between the 27th and the 4th or so today of August. That amazing lineup. Okay, it pretty much started with, or not quite, but this is kind of the next very powerful event that actually began before. That was, see, before we had the moon at 23 Scorpio. That is a bit more than a day after. The lunar nodes square Pluto for the 3rd time in 5 days. That was quite interesting, in the 23rd and the 25th, because the nodes are right now in a place where they kind of are going in almost horizontal. That's the beautiful thing about the nodal movement, the true lunar node. Sometimes it goes down like a waterfall and then comes to a plateau area. That's where we are in right now, in that last degrees of Aries and Libra, which is the Piscean part of Aries. Interesting again, huh? Here comes again the Pisces, the Neptune, the Saturn energy in through the back door. So the lunar nodes squared by Pluto. What does that mean? Here they are, the nodes, and here is Pluto. So this is the direction of evolution in a simple way said, and this guy has the handle on it, is at the steering wheel, you could say. It is a very powerful place in a T-square to the nodes. Pluto at its most powerful, you could say, most impactful. And Pluto naturally is fast and quick change and great energies involved in the events that unfold. There's a hypnotic power in it. That's part of the Plutonic force. It has that ability to multiply itself to a place where it becomes overbearing, very scorpionic, very intense. It can be all of the above. Now on top of that, look at that, on top of that, Pluto and Haumea on that very same day, you see, with the moon now at 2 degrees, that was in between, so that's within half a day of each. Pluto and Haumea had their 4th of 13 squares. So here is Pluto and here is Haumea, 2858. Actually pretty much dead on the south node. This in itself is, I mean, this is a spectacular power which is here coming into the manifest world, and it is that Haumea at the south node. Now the south node is our assets. That's what it basically is. That's our fuel, which we are given by the universe to get us from A to B, boost us over to the sign Aries, into this new beginning. It's really the power within that seed to break through the ground and create that shoot through the asphalt. Yes, a small and vulnerable blade of grass having that force to push through concrete. Just imagine, that's the power of nature. That's the pure power of nature, and it comes out of an abundance, a Piscean abundance. Aries, the last segment of Aries, with the Piscean overnode. Pluto with the Sagittarian overtone, or whatever you call it, that second layer frequency, the fractal universe, very powerful, that within each sign all the 12 others hide, or not all the 11 others as well. I guess that's properly said. Again, the first 2.5 degrees are same, and then 2.5 to 5 would be the Aquarian dwad of Capricorn. So that's just so if you like to learn that system, it's again gives you so much additional insights also into your charts if you decode your planets, which of the 12 they're in. Anyway, so Pluto Haumea square, yes, this is the second year now we are experiencing these squares that will happen between 2022 to 2028 for 13 times every half year, more or less. Pluto and Haumea. Haumea is childbirth, it is reformation, it is that volcanic force from which comes from deep down under the sea, builds up slowly a plateau, a landmass, and then comes the moment where that is breaking over the waterline, and that is part of that, the expression of that Pluto Haumea square. It is that intensity, that power of dragon force, really. That's another way of seeing it. Haumea is the fire dragon. And dragon energy has been awakened on this planet. You all, guys. We all. Particularly now with Haumea crossing into Scorpio very soon again, and heliocentrically it already is in Scorpio for the next 30 years or so. That is a recreation from scratch, from deep down, building it up. It is that barren new land at first, which then is seeded, fertilized. Now this is the next one of what happened on that the 28th as well, and that was, I made here notes, when the moon was at 104 in Sag. So just 3 hours earlier, Jupiter changed into a new hexagram, hexagram 2, Earth. Between 1315 and 1850 to 30 in Taurus is hexagram 2. That is 6 female lines, the most receptive of the 64 hexagrams, and naturally on the opposite side, as it always has to be balanced. That's one of the wonderful things of all oppositions in the zodiac. They balance each other, they complement each other. On the other side is hexagram 1, which is the creative, the 6 yang lines, the pure creative force, and Earth receptive to it, receiving something. And Jupiter in there, yes, this is extremely auspicious. Also, in that sense, the ingress chart of Jupiter into this hexagram, where it will be for, I think, for the next few months. Let's just have a look here. Yes, you see Jupiter turns around at 15:34:54 on the 4th of September. Yeah, so it's for 2 months it will be in this hexagram 2 to start with. So we can say under this powerful auspice, all these other alignments in these few hours at the same time, this is also at the root of Jupiter now expressing itself through that receptive earth. So it is literally, if we just open ourselves to the good energy, it is here. You can feel it. As Jacqueline Hobbs, Oracle Girl again, she says, just every day take a few minutes, at least a few minutes, close your eyes, be just with yourself, and imagine to fill in with pure love and absorb it. Feel how it floods your system, how it is anchored into this world through your physical body. And this is the way we can really give back and share and expand our light. It is so this is all happening in sync. So this is an enormous build-up, and just to tie into that other story I was teasing you with about the Philadelphia experiment, I'm getting to it. Just be patient, it will be up in the next few days, I hope. Which is that every 20 years, which started in 1943 on August the 12th, which was creating a time loop to August the 12th, 1983. And if you mirror that into the future, you get to August 12th, 2023. It's twice 40 years. So they say this is the peak, the 20-year peak every 20 years. The peak in Earth's biorhythm. Earth is naturally a living being and has its own rhythms. So this is will be a moment of the Earth resonating at its highest frequencies to then relax again, and for another high point in 20 years. So the last time it would have been in August 12th, 2003. Yes, that was a very intense summer too. It was when Mars had its closest approach to Earth in, I guess, 50,000 years or something. Mars was retrograde months on end in that core period of summer. It was totally different from what it will manifest this time, but it definitely was an intensity, and I remember it. So that is locks up with the Lion's Gate is in itself meaningful. It says something. This is an accumulation again, something building on top of something else, which again gives you that same image. You're building a higher mountain. If you have two important things on top of each other, they become more visible. Okay, then let's go back to this chart for a minute. No, that's not the one. However, it is a beautiful one too. This is the one I want to go back to. The lunar node squaring Pluto. I guess this is really that drive of evolution, pushing it into an even higher gear on absolute fast track. Time lapse almost. Things are pushed so hard. It is the rapids, you could say, the rapids which we are in right now. And then there will be a flushing out on the other side, maybe into a waterfall, something of that sort. It might not be as the big one, but definitely there is some some breakthrough ahead of quite magnanimous proportions, anywhere between the 9th and the I guess the 29th of September, somewhere in that window. That is when Mercury will be again in that hexagram 40, where it is right now. You see, we had that, and when Mercury was in hexagram, let's do this one here. Yes, here you have it. That is right now the case until about the 7th of August. Where is it? Here, Mercury 5:45 into 11:22:30. Hexagram 40, as I laid out more in detail last video. Deliverance. It's a breaking open and freeing itself of something. It's a kind of thrashing the corset and stretching and feeling the spaciousness and the freedom. Lots of freedom in this. So it is kind of could be experienced by many people as breaking through their belief systems, through their mental prisons. Something opens up in a big way, and certainly, I mean, this combination of Mars Palace with Mercury speaks for itself, yes. So anyway, Mercury will be back in that segment, hexagram 40, on its way backwards towards its station, which is at 8 degrees, as I said. It will be between the 9th and the 29th. It will be in this window, and it turns direct on the 15th of September. So this window there, that is where I expect the gravitational center of that transformative phase. It already earlier will get quite interesting, so it has many levels to it, and certainly around the 11th, 12th, 13th of August, when Venus will turn direct, when Venus is exactly between Sun and Earth, as you can see here on this heliocentric chart. The Sun is in the middle, and from the Sun's perspective, Venus is exactly in front of Earth. Yes, not quite exactly in front, as in latitude, Venus actually is about 7 degrees, I guess, south of the Sun right now. Could be north or south, I'm not sure about that yet right now, but it is for that possible. And if you go to the Space Weather page, they put up pictures now, probably come more to come. People with telescopes looking at Venus just degrees from the Sun, and still they can see the very, very thin sickle Venus shows our way these days. I guess it's less than 2% now, and soon it will be 0, and Venus will be exactly in front of the Sun. However, Venus will go through a rebirth then into its morning star phase, and according to Mayan astrology, this is an extremely volatile time. The days of Venus heliacal rising, which means that the first day after it becomes a morning star, when it's separating from the Sun again, the first day it can be seen at the western horizon, which is about 6 days after the exact conjunction, which would be around the 19th of August. Another date to kind of mark an approximation, naturally can be plus minus 2-3 days. that whole phase of Venus reborn, we will get to that, is super, super powerful. And then, yeah, I mean, there's so many things synchronizing here. Let me just show you this one. You see, you have 2750 here rising. That is when Venus is exactly between Sun and Earth. And that is the degree of the source point of this fourth Pluto Haumea square, which is all about that kind of volcanic power that is pushing up from deep, and it is this dragon fire which is fueling us, because it's available. We can lock into it, we can allow it to express through us, and I guess that's exactly what it is. This is bringing the breakthrough. It is the amount of people on that bandwagon, and there's more and more and more every day. It is literally, the avalanches already quite a bit into the mountain. You can see it if you're standing far away watching it. Maybe, however, we are in the middle of it, we are involved, but just in your imagination, stand away from it, and you will see the clouds, the thunder clouds thundering down the mountainside. It is picking up momentum. This is once in a lifetime experience. We are in here for an enormous experience, a wonderful experience. Yes, it's still very scary too in many ways. Absolutely, it's a roller coaster of the wildest. But again, we have signed up for it. Anyway, so here's the other one I wanted to show you. Again, this is still one. Yep, let's leave that in peace for now. But this is the one, the nodes of Pluto squaring, and you see the 14th degree of Capricorn. And then if we go back to the moment when Earth was at its farthest point from the Sun, which was on July the 6th, you see the exact same arrangement. Actually, that by that day the Sun was dead on the descendant. Now, what does this chart mean? This is one of the two extreme points. Earth's distance from the Sun in July, it's the farthest away. So this is the moment which defines the relationship with the Sun. Up to that point, for 6 months, Earth has been moving farther and farther away from the Sun. Literally, yes, in distance. If you were having a measuring tape, that's where you reach the extreme point, and from that moment on July the 6th, it was this year. It's every year a little different because of the moon and other planets and other factors. But that was the moment when the Sun, when the Earth then all of a sudden started approaching the Sun anymore. It had reached the apex of its motion. It's like if you throw a ball into the air, when you watch it, there's a moment where it stands still in the air. That is the moment which redefines, which sets the stage for the next 6 months at least, if not the next 6 to 12. So that moment, naturally, easily understandable, has a great predictive potential again. That's the moments I'm gravitating to, and I'm learning. I'm still experimenting with many ways, because it is true. It's our birth chart is the proof, kind of. There is a blueprint which then lays out what's to come whenever something new comes into manifestation, that is the moment when where its roots are placed. That is the moment it is truly representing. You can think about that. Anyway, this is the foundation of a 6-month period, and when you have that same cross coming in, yes, again, the amplification factor, you get it by now. And then on top of that, just the full moon on August 1st had pretty much the exact same cross, just 2 degrees plus here, very minor, so it resonates on that same frequency. This whole 4 weeks. So this is kind of the clue that we have reached the mountaintop. There's so many potentials now laid open, available. We can tap into it directly. It's all it needs. It's a little courage, a little craziness, you could call it. I mean, honestly, you have to be a little crazy in this world. If you're not, your life might feel a little sad in the end that you didn't explore that direction either. So just in case you're still wondering how deep and how much you can dare to express about yourself and what not, how many roles you're ready to play in the right moment in order to achieve what your heart desires. It's all about that. That's the motivation. If we come from that motivation of love, then nature is ready to feed us, flow through us, and empower us. And then you see we had that full moon in the 10th degree of Aquarius, and I wanted to read you those degrees because they are, again, saying a lot. So let's start with the 10 degrees Aquarius, where the full moon is. Yeah, here is this. My 2 books here. The Sabian symbols. 10th degree of Aquarius, a man who had for a time become the embodiment of a popular idol is made to realize that as a person he is not this idol. So it is a time of self-realization, of stepping away from the masks and the roles we are good at and we are venerated for. Seeing ourselves as in our truth versus our how we present ourselves. I guess that's pretty clear. It's about self-reevaluation, coming to a clear picture of what you really are, who you are, how things are expressing through you, as you, with you, around you. Now 10 degrees Leo, there where the sun is, and I'm highlighting this axis for this reason alone here, and that brings us back to where we started. Here you have the same degrees, you see. It's just magic. It's really amazing how these repetitions work. 9:15, the sun here on August 1st during full moon. 9:21, midheaven here when Neptune reactivates this Capricornian dwad. which is all about bringing that Neptunian shadow into the full light. And then there is this one here. I mean, I have to show you quickly, even though it takes a minute or two longer. But this is, no, it's not the one. That's another beautiful chart. Let me just open it here. Okay, so this is Neptune's discovery chart, a return of the black moon. Let me just go back to Neptune's discovery chart here for a minute, and you see what I'm talking about. See, here you have Neptune's discovery chart. You have the black moon at 2652 in Leo, and that is where the black moon is here. 2651 it says here, which is odd. Ah, okay, that's what it is. This, in this chart, it rounds. It's, which is, yeah, let me just open that one too. Now I'm curious. Interesting. I have to go back to that. Anyway, maybe the time is a little wrong there. Anyway, you get the picture here. I didn't read you yet what it says about that 10 degrees Leo at the top of the chart. And it is this one we were talking about. So in the 10th degree Aquarius, again, it is that stepping behind one's role, seeing it as just what it is, and kind of standing away from our identities. I guess this is at its best. So 10 degrees Leo is early morning dew sparkles as sunlight floods the field. How about that? And I remember we had that degree already a few weeks ago in another important chart. I don't remember which one it was, but I definitely remember having read that degree. A very, very positive one. The exalted feeling that rises within the soul of the individual who has successfully passed through the long night, which has tested his strength and his faith. How about that? Beautiful. Yeah. Anyway, let's leave it at this, and yes, stay tuned. Some really interesting stuff is happening in the next few weeks. Unique, one of a kind. We are definitely heading into some mind-blowing times beyond imagination. Trust me. Thanks for watching. I love you all. Bye-bye.